guys, and welcome back to our White Tigers Rising series here with the Truro City Football Club. We are in the middle of January, um, and it's been kind of an up and down month. Actually, mostly down. So we have been ravaged a bit, both in injuries and transfers. So we had a couple of guys leave. So Freddie Tracy and Joe Grayson are no longer with us anymore. Unfortunately, they came in. They were stirring up that they weren't getting enough starting time. I really didn't see them starting a lot. So they said, well, we really want to leave. If somebody puts a bid in, we want to go. So I said, fine. Somebody puts in a reasonable offer or hits your release clause. There's not much I'm willing to do, but go. And I didn't, Grayson's release clause was 140,000. Freddie Tracy's was like 375,000, I think. Tracy really hadn't done much for us, and he's been so super streaky. He had, sort of the one really good season. He kind of came on fire a little bit in our promotional League One season, but he's been so streaky that he's very difficult to count on, and he hadn't been very productive this year. So we took 100,000, 75,000, 100,000 for him, and another. I think 100,000 for, or 75,000 each rather. Let me just see. 75 and 75. I get. Oh, sorry. And then George Lapsley left. He bitched and moaned he wanted out. I didn't really see him playing, so he left, and that's that. Now, great news for us. We did get Saudu Diallo, who's he's a midfielder I'd been watching for kind of a while. I think he'll play really well in that ball-winning midfielder defense role, especially now that Ben Rivers is out for a year with busted knee, and he's probably done. So I'm happy with Diallo. He's played well. I've had my eye on him for a long while. I like his stats: mental, physical, really good, marking, passing. I think he's really good. I think exposure to playing day in and day out at this level will make him better. He has some room to grow. I think he could probably outdo his potential ability a little bit, and be an important member of our midfield. That's the good news. The bad news is he's playing in the African Cup of Nations. We won't see him for about another month. Which is great, except for the fact that let's go have a look at the current misery we're in. So he's on international duty. Danny Ramsey just got injured. He's out 2 to 3 weeks. Ben Rivers, he's out for about a year. Ethan Robson, who has been the absolute master of our midfield, is out for 2 months. Finney is out for another 2 weeks, and Penny is on his second game of a 2-game suspension from yellow cards. So unfortunately, we've been playing a bit of a patchwork squad out there, especially in the midfield, and I'm noticing almost more than anything the quality of play in our midfield is what makes this tick. So Danny Sharp has come in. We brought him back from loan. He had a great first game. He managed to score one for us too, which was really, really nice and appreciated. But Harley Black is just coming in, and I think he's going to need a little time to get seated. So hopefully he does a decent job of filling in it. So overall, I think we're struggling a little bit. We've got about another month here before the team's sort of back in action. I looked at guys coming back, guys not, and Tracy, Lapsley, and Gracie were all guys that were going to be gone at the end of this season anyway. So at least I think we turned them into some money, or at least 2 of them into some money, which is fine. I can't really be too upset. I'm trying to turn Dion Pereira into some money as well, since he's going to be gone. And I think Ross Watts may be as well, but I don't think we can afford to go into. I don't think we can afford to go that to cut ourselves that deep to try and make a or not a profit, just try and make some cash back on these guys. So I think we'll leave them there. They'll leave on the freeze, which is going to give us a couple of $100,000 to play with in terms of wage budget at the end of the season. So I'm going to need to sit down and do some thinking as to how I want to try and lay this out. We're going to need some depth. I'm not unhappy with the squad, so I don't think we're going to need major turnover. I think we're going to need to focus on depth, and I think we can kind of focus on getting some youngsters in. So, sort of that 18, 19, 20 zone to kind of fill out the bench a little bit and bring on a little more quality there. So, that being said, guys, well, we'll just jump right into the highlights. I'll see you in the first game, guys. Okay, guys, so this was the first game of the month, and we were playing a relegation, threatened Fleetwood here. We just fell apart at the end, as you can see. We were up 1-0 almost the whole game, and then we just collapsed. So Furness got us started in the 14th minute, and we actually, off a free kick or off of corner kick there, so good, because we don't really score much from there. Our three traveling fans were super happy about that. And then unfortunately in the 73rd minute they hit us back, kind of a freak long throw in, and just a shit back pass from Cameron, and they're up 1-1, or they're drawn 1-1. Unfortunately at this point I want to kind of make him go and run till he throws up all over the place because I'm pissed at him. 80th minute, they're back in action. Unfortunately, Cameron again fails to cover, and Clark Harris is wide open, and he nails that one into the back of the net. That's 2, and just to add insult to injury, long throw, and just an awful header. I don't know what the hell Willis was doing, just laying around on the ground there. No one did anything, and in it goes, and we go down 3-1. So at this point, we sent the squad back to the training ground to run wind sprints until I got tired, which at this point still hasn't happened yet. So disappointing overall, and I'll see you guys in the next highlight. Okay, guys, so this was the Wigan Athletic road game here, and I was actually pretty pleased to come out of this with a point. Wigan are up in 4th. They've been hopping around the top of the table. They're a very good side, and should by all accounts not be down this low in League One. But here they are. So they've been playing really, really well, and upset that we gave up the goal just after we took the lead, but glad that we got the point. So Ethan Robson had us started here in the 10th minute, off of a corner. It just sort of all over the place. He finds himself right there, and he just blasts it into the top corner, which was a really, really, really great goal. A few minutes later, Sean Hutchinson, he manages to equalize. You can watch it coming. You know it's happening. You're screaming and yelling at them to do something about it. And yet no one does anything about that free kick. So we are now drawn up 1-1. Cameron, another corner. We were efficient from set pieces. Gets his head on that one. Drives it into the net. We're up 2-1 and pretty thrilled at this point. Pretty thrilled. And just like that, they come back and decide that, screw it. We're going to ruin you. They just managed to tear us apart on that one again. Got behind us. Jacob Mellis gets in there, and I don't know. Was he offside or not? It looked kind of close. But either way, we get out of Wigan with a point and a little unhappiness. Major news in this one was 83rd minute, we lost Ben Rivers for a year with a bang with knee ligament damage. So I doubt he's ever going to be quite the same as he was. So he may just Rather than being the rising star that he was, he may end up settling into the bench. So that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next game. Okay, guys, so we came back to the friendly confines of Brooklyn Park for this one, and we played Walsall, which, again, another tough game, and, we just couldn't hold it down again. We ended up giving up a late goal in this one to a team we utterly dominated. So that's a focal point for next year, is how the hell to stop that. A little bit is that we've got some second choice defenders in there, so I'm kind of convinced that if our first choice center backs were in there, we wouldn't have been in such a bad, rough shape. That being said, that tells me we probably are going to need to do a little something about bolstering our center back options on the bench in there. Ethan Robson again had just a phenomenal game. He's really taken to this Roman playmaker role really nicely. I'm really, really happy with him. I'm disappointed he's out for a couple months with a groin strain, which unfortunately doesn't do us any good. So Danny Ramsey, of all people, we had him starting because the games were back-to-back here, so we put him in. And Dunn finds Robson, just deflects it, and the keeper can't hold on to it, and Danny is right there and smashes that bad boy home. So I'm happy with him. He's developing really nicely as a youngster. So I'm pleased that he's a decent backup option for Zach Durnley there. We are going to need to find a better option for Ben Holmes because I'm not really happy with Hassan. He doesn't really do much of anything for us. But anyway, Tom Williams, just a high-speed break, and he's right there in front. They pass the ball very quickly, very efficiently, and score with one of their 2 shots on target. So that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next game. Okay, guys, so this was the Derby County game in the FA Cup third round, and I'm actually a little disappointed. I really thought that we would have gotten a bigger crowd to come out and watch this one. We only had 19,000, so it wasn't as big a payday as I would have liked or hoped or kind of needed. It did enough to kind of stabilize things a little bit for this year, but really would have hoped for something a little bit bigger. That being said, all things considered, I think we gave a good account of ourselves. We took our 2 options, we converted nicely. Okay, fine. One of them was a really late consolation goal to Jack Dunn, but I felt like we gave ourselves a decent account. I mean, we drew things up. We were only down, sort of 2-1 around the halftime point, and given how much better they should be than us, I'm not all that upset. So they get things. Valentin gets this thing started off in the 19th minute. Floats a nice one inside. He's all by himself, and there's not a whole lot the keeper's going to do on that one there. So he just slots it nicely right into the side of the net and puts them up 1-0. Callan Robinson did get one back, though, which is nice to see him score. He and Furness together are a decent mix. In off the inside post there, but nice nonetheless. Good work. I mean, it showed that we could score from open play, which I liked. Unfortunately, they go ahead right quick after it. We're just coverage is broken down, and Lara just bangs that one in. I mean, that's just a quality difference right there, which is a little disappointing. Nonetheless, then in the 46th minute, just on the other side of halftime, set piece again, and we get all caught up in the set piece, and Quaison blasts that one in, and then Munir, yes, former Barcelona Munir, finishes them off for the 4-1. How he's not offside, I'm sort of beyond myself there. He was ahead of everybody. He puts it out there. He doesn't play a lot, it appears, for them, but he did what he needed to do. And then Dunn scores one from open play again, just to put us back 4-2. Really nicely there. So we played well. I think we gave our good show. We weren't embarrassed. It wasn't as bad as the Chelsea game. These guys are in European competition, so all things considered, it wasn't the worst affair we've ever experienced. But at the end of the day, we go down and we didn't get quite as big a payday as I would have hoped. So we'll kind of limp into the end of this year. So that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next game. Okay, guys, so this is the feature game of the month against an old nemesis in Barry. Unfortunately, they put us to the sword again. We went after Mick Telford, and, well, that didn't work out. He put 2 in. And even worse for us, star and stud midfielder Ethan Robson is out for 2 months in this game. The game was even, but that being said, we came out on the short end of the stick in this one. So let's jump in, watch the and be all depressed about the loss, because there's not much of a good feeling we can have about this one. Disappointed. This has been a tough month. I mean, we got some points out of some really tough games. We're still kind of hovering mid-table, which is really far above expectation. Obviously we've been ravaged a bit in the transfer window. Finding a good pickup, getting them in, and not being able to, just a tough shot right there, and not being able to get them in for another month because of international duty. While it's nice to finally have an international in there, a little disappointing in that we're going to need to do some looking around. Do some strengthening. This summer is going to be pivotal for us. If we're going to, Telford, at least he was marked tightly there. If we're going to turn this, if we're going to look to, beautiful from Sharp, just beautiful from Danny Sharp right there. If we're going to look to start, a push for getting to the championship in a couple of years, we're going to need to strengthen our rotational options. We have to keep an eye on things too. We have a few guys. Telford just beats his man. That's just a phenomenal individual effort right there. We're gonna need to start paying a little more attention to, strength and growth across the board. And unfortunately, there we go again. Telford gets it in, and we pay a little bit of the price there, unfortunately. He went out injured with a groin injury as well. Part of it, I think, may have been the cold. Part of it may have been that at least somebody thought the world was favorable. On that front, Robinson just out in front there. We threatened a lot. We just didn't do anything about it. I mean, I guess we were mostly bark and no bite. And this one, we were moving the ball well. Yeah, fullbacks didn't really get aggressive in this one, which is disappointing. I'm not 100% sure I understand why, but that one just went right over Sharp's head, although he's not the tallest guy on the pitch, as you can see. He is a little bit of a pipsqueak out there, so I don't expect to use him. Black is got to be the shortest dude I think I've ever seen rendered on this. He looks like he's about 3'5". Thankfully, he passes pretty well, but my God, what a little guy he is out there. And it's not just perspective. He is an absolute pipsqueak by the way that this is rendered. Unfortunately, Furness can't get his head up on that one to try and claw us back to even in this one. Hey, Mick Telford just peels me apart. I wish to God he would have been on my squad as a regen when I started, because we ran into Barry in the conference in the conference premiere, and he's been a beast striker since we've ever run into Barry. He has caused problems at every level on it. But anyway, back to so I think we're going to need to start taking some strengthening serious if we think we're on a couple of year plan for getting into the championship. I'm happy at mid-table. I think we need to kind of strengthen a little bit so that some of these games that we've been, um, that we've been in a more rotational situation that we haven't been successful at. Ooh, beautiful over the top to Durley, but he just why he doesn't pass there bothers me. Um, but there's some rotational option type games in that we haven't unfortunately been successful in that I think we need to look at our rotational options and um, just a beauty goal from Burrows right there. That was a lovely goal from Barry. Um, Not much we were going to do about it. But we do need to look at those options because we do need to start turning some of those rotation games into points, be them draws or wins. I'd be happy to settle for draws next season and then start working on wins from there. But we'll do what we can do. Furnace offsides there. We're going to definitely have to make a serious play to try and get Craig Furnace next year because we're going to need some strikers and other sort of things. So that's it for this one, guys. Disappointing that we lost. Worse that we lost Ethan Robson for the next 2 months. So that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you. Okay, guys, so we're back here for the episode wrap-up. So coming up next month, we are going to be home against the guys we beat the pieces out of at the beginning of the season in Bradford City. So that's a game I expect to win. We have Northampton away, which is going to be a tough one, but hopefully we get some points. Doncaster, a game we should be winning. Wickham Wanderers, who we played that crazy 4-4 draw earlier in the season against, so hopefully we have something better from that. And our feature game of the month will be the home leg of the Cornwall Derby. So until next time, guys, remember, please leave a like on the video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And remember, check out Paul's Creating a Legacy series. If you haven't already checked that out, he's got some really cool things going on over at FC United of Manchester. If you need to catch up on White Tigers Rising, check out that. We've got the playlist in here. We're at 85 episodes now, so we're steadily climbing towards 100. And until next time, guys, see you soon. Bye now.